There's a place, a school, an institution where a professor resides. One that for the past 30 years has traveled the world teaching others. A pioneer in America of the fighting science of Savate. One who codified the sports of this fighting style. One who has produced clubs, champions, and continues to develop. Listen to words of Professor Buitron.
Hope everybody's doing well. Sure glad we are. We're doing fine here at the school. It's Sunday and I have several things that I'm actually doing here. I just finished teaching a little bit ago and putting stuff back together again. Yesterday we had a great event, a rosary for peace, helium balloon rosary. We had the Webb County Sheriff with us. We had a Webb County Justice of Peace with us, Judge Oscar Yendo, and our Sheriff Martin Puella. It said some great words, and everybody in the community, and some folks from the community came here, but also everybody within Buitron Academy was around and helping, and it just turned out real nice. And we just did it for peace. You know, there's too much violence in this world, and we're back with the reviews of Street Reality. You know, folks, I get a lot of videos and I get a lot of questions with what would have been done better, what should have been. Listen, I don't condone fighting, but I also do not condone somebody to coward. The reason I'm reviewing the videos that they're sending of street altercations and assaults are for people to be aware of what's going on wrong. And I'm going to put down the common denominator and the several of the ones that are coming up next. But this is for educational purposes. Okay, there's a lot of things that happen. Granted, not everybody does martial arts. Not everybody trains in a combative sport. But so that puts you into the element of you do not have to be trained for you to get into an altercation. Okay. So with that said, we'll take it from there. Some of the wrongs that are coming here that I want to point out. One, folks, do not hit somebody this way. Okay? Because this type of motion is going to break your fingers. Okay? That's number one. That's a common denominator that I saw with the majority of, or punching in this fashion with the hands, with what I call a broken wrist. That's going to break your bones. You have 25 bones in your wrist, 24 I believe and 26 in the foot, and you break them. There's a reason why people call it boxer's fracture, was because this is actually the only, let me explain a little bit about this. This is actually the only knuckle that is in line with your ulnar radius. But a lot of places in karate, they want to make it for you to hit with these two. Okay? That will break this bone. A lot of boxers have been told, they've never been taught how to make a fist or throw a punch. They've just been told to throw combinations, and that's when they break these hands or not wrap right. That's what's going to end up going. But again, how you punch, it has to be trained and has to be taught. So that's one, and the number two of what I saw in common denominator. The other one, I keep telling people, do not fall to the ground. That's number three. Why? You're going to get shoe shined. I'm going to show that right now. The new one. People grabbing with their left and hitting with the right. There's a couple of the videos that I'm going to show where it has that type of attack. And the last one I'm going to save to the end. Number 4 is liquid courage, alcohol. Folks, it's okay to have a beer, a sundowner once in a while. Drink responsibly. Have a glass of wine when you have dinner, but not for you to be falling over yourself. Some of these fights, you can tell right away that liquor was involved. Okay? So, where there's liquor, there's an argument, or not even an argument, it could be best friends, and all of a sudden it starts off something that you did when they were 5 years old. You know, understand that liquor makes people do stupid things and leads people and think that they're invincible, and they end up getting into altercations. The last and most important, ladies, when you see an altercation, when you see a fight, when you see two men fighting, do not be the hero and do not try to grab them. Not all men were raised not to hit women. Some of these men will turn around and hit you back if you hit them. Again, also do not join the fight because you're going to get hit once more. Not all men were raised not to hit a girl. Okay? Some of these men nowadays will turn around and hit you faster than you can blink. So understand that. So let's take it from where it is. The first video I'm going to show is two guys. It kind of, they paired up against each other. Both of them can't fight. Both of them are striking with their hands here. There's so many wrong hands here. Throwing punches, turning their face backwards. Stuff like that you can pick up and learn. But you also have to understand that when you're in a situation, whether it's sparring in the ring or whatnot, there is people that are going to turn around. And you have those subtleties. You as a competitor, as a fighter, you have to understand and you have to learn how to use those against your enemy. Make myself clear? So, or your opponent. So with that said, the first fight, hitting this way, swinging widely, no stance whatsoever, turning the face, turning the head away from the punch, looking away. Major mistakes. But those mistakes, if you're trained, you can use them, but you have to have a good eye to be able to recognize them. The next altercation, it's road rage. Two guys in the middle of the street. You can tell one of them has some type of boxing skills. One of them's a little older than him. You can tell this is in Mexico by the plates. But the younger one brings down the older one. He took him down. The older one falls to the ground and he stands up. He does not have that malice of going in and finishing him off, shoe shining him in the bottom of the street. He respected that matter. So, number one, I do not know what the altercations were for, none of these, but I'm just showing what occurred during the fight. Understand? And we can use that to see what are the basic attacks and what are the attacks that can use for you to defend yourself against them. That's for educational purposes. Okay? So, and this one, the younger one, takes him to the ground. He doesn't shoe shine him. He doesn't hit him while he's in the ground. But that shows that he has had some type of training somewhere, maybe younger, maybe boxing or kickboxing or something to that effect. Now, the next one. You can tell that there's liquor involved. You can see people in the crowd. You can see that it's in a restaurant bar. The gentleman he's going up against two, kind of holding his own. So he equalizes, picks up a stool and hits one, brings him down to the ground, hits another. He's doing fine. One of them stands back up. They grab each other by the shirt. They end up falling some way or another. And the ground, once they go in the ground, you can tell that they start hitting them. And then it just breaks off from there. So, again, the grabbing on the shirt and hitting is number one. Second, drinking in a bar. Was he drinking? Was he drunk? Was not? I don't know. But remember, folks, when I used to do security or be in bounce and be at a club and be a doorman and that type of sense. Because I really was a doorman. I was more inside. That type of security when used to before was you really want to take the fight, the conflict, and put it outside. You don't want it to happen inside. I remember the owner talked to everybody. Goes, I'm not bringing you guys in here for you all to beat up people. I'd rather have, his name was Scott, big old guy. He was about 6'2", intimidate him and push him out. But occurrences happen every so often. So there was two types of folks that went into the bar. There was the person that got drunk and was belligerent with everybody else. And then you had the person that could tolerate his liquor. Those were the dangerous ones. Those were the ones that still had kind of their whole senses. And those were the ones that I think this is what happened with here, got picked on, something, whatever. We can speculate, and I don't really want to go there, but how he fought in the beginning was fine. Problem is, you all have to realize one thing. You all can look it up in the FBI stats. 8-9 seconds is the time frame for most fights. If it goes over 30 seconds, it's because it went down to the ground. Most of the time it goes down to the ground because you have what I call a hero entered the realm of the confusion, or they tripped over something, okay? Or one of them's just tired enough to grab the other person, they're gonna drag them down. Next fight. You can tell, again, it's some type of, by the plates, they're either in Germany or South Africa. You can tell they're in the side of the road, maybe road rage. One's fighting with the other. You can see the grab of the shirt and hitting away. And it's a commonality in most of the fights that you're just going to see in these videos. Is they grab with the left, strike with the right. That comes in with believing that by doing that you're going to get accuracy. Well, it's not going to happen. The person that has his hands free is the one that's going to win. That's the one that gets the upper hand. So understand that as soon as you grab somebody else, you're the one that's grabbing, and you're the one that's going to be wrestled down, because the other person's free to do whatever he wants with two of his hands. Okay? On this video, if they falls down, they start wrestling. That's more likely what was going to happen. Now, the next one, again, it starts off young guys fighting in the street. They're in the window. One of them grabs. The other guy has his hands free to punch away. And that's what happens. So the other person falls down to the ground. He probably hit his head on the concrete. That's very common. Remember, folks, boxing rings, knockouts, it can kill you. That concussion can kill you. And a boxing ring has foam, has specialized foam to take that impact when you fall down. Okay, you get knocked down, your head it's going to absorb. It's not going to, you understand what I'm saying? It's not going to be a solid one. Still hard. You're still going to get a concussion. So that's what happened in this one. And this progressed down the road. Next one. Two guys, you can tell right off the bat they've been drinking way too much. One of them's grabbing. In fact, both of them are grabbing. Both of them are wailing away. And it's funny because those type of punches, hitting in this fashion, hitting in this fashion, hitting in this fashion, that type of punch is not going to do anything. Okay? Extending the hand here and trying to bring it here, nothing's going to happen. Okay? So, folks, hate to say this, but most of these folks here, the reason they got in a fight was because there was liquor involved. Okay? Let's continue. Next one here is they're in a baseball game, soccer game, some stadium. They're fighting. And I'll repeat this. Women, do not get involved. Do not become the hero. There's men that are going to hit you. And you're going to see it in this video. It is sad. The girl went in there to protect her boyfriend, started going in there, and guess what? He got hit by two guys. Unfortunately, it happens. And again, don't place yourself in that situation. Okay? Control going on down the road a little bit. This next one, it is what it is. They're like in the beach, spring break, lake, someplace, everybody's in bikinis, and the girls are in bikinis, the guys are in swimwear. You have one guy taking care of business against two, doing fairly well. All of a sudden, one of them brings him down to the ground, and all the girls and everybody rush to stomp him. Remember what I said. Girls, don't get involved with the fight. Second, if you fall down to the ground, doesn't matter who it is, they're going to run, they're going to stomp you. It can be the guy putting gas, and he sees a friendship, he's going to run across, and they're going to stomp you. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Mistakes, you can see them all. Commonalities here is the grabbing with the left hand and punching. There's many ways to get out of it. Not even going to discuss about it. But one, if you're going to train in a self-defense situation, make sure they're teaching you awareness. A lot of these fights could be avoided by awareness. Second, if you start going to a place where there's drinking and you like hanging out with this, the chances are you might get into an entanglement or an argument or something might happen. It starts getting higher. Okay? Third, if you're training, train to understand how to hit, where to hit, how to hit. Very basic. Throwing punches, throwing kicks, anybody can do it. Throwing them correctly is a different story. That's where it separates a bunch of people. I will say this. Most martial art instructors out there that are teaching will have a hard time with a majority of teenagers that will go in a frenzy. Understand what I just said? So you have to train, and you have to train for what it is. If you train to go to the ground and you do that in the street, God bless you. If you train not to follow through, you might get hurt at the end. Okay? If you train never to hit the face or kick the legs, believe me, it's going to haunt you in the street. Now, what I want from everybody is I want you all to stay safe. Look at these and look them as an experience for you to learn from. Okay? Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I know everything. I'm just saying that what I'm seeing, in my opinion, through my experience of what I've seen in the street, okay, is that. Now, understanding fighting, understanding how to throw, there's a lot of wrongs, especially in stances. You can go back and look at all these videos. Those that had a good stance, not feet side by side, that are actually in a good neutral bow from Kempo, if you want to look at that way. Because right now I just saw through the camera that I got two of the great Kempo men right behind me. Here's the uniform of Fuck Planis, and here's the uniform of Steve LeBounty. Two great grandmasters of American Kempo. But if you're in Kempo, neutral bow, remember that's a fighting style of Kempo. American Kempo was built for the American mindset in the street. Savate was built for the Western world. Boxing stance. Have a solid foundation. Do not cross your legs, because if you're drunk, you're going to fumble over yourself. You're going to trip. If you know how to use your legs and footwork while you strike and move back, that's where you're going to have a little bit of more structure to yourself from being able to be taken down. Now, if you, like I said, I didn't show anything with weapons, but there's elements of weapons inside. And remember, how you train take that and go 20% less. That's how you're going to act starting in the street without at your 100% being there. Now, if you add liquid courage, or you have tight jeans, or you have a jacket, start taking 10% off there. So remember that. Your starting point in the street is at 80%. So regardless if you train at 100% in the schools. So with that said, I'll leave you with this. Y'all stay safe, be safe. Until next time. And continue sending those videos, because we'll analyze them and give them back to you. We're going to try to do this once a week. Stay safe.
There's a place, a school, an institution where a professor resides. One that for the past 30 years has traveled the world teaching others. A pioneer in America of the fighting science of Savate. One who codified the sports of this fighting style. One who has produced clubs, champions, and continues to develop. Listen to work.
Hello, my name is Karina. I joined Buitron Academy back in April because I wanted to learn self-defense. I went for Kempo, but then I tried Capoeira and Savate and ended up liking them just as much, so I ended up joining those as well. While I've been with the Academy, I can say that I've grown in confidence, discipline, strength, and fitness. Overall, the Academy is I've had a great experience with it, and I would encourage anyone who would want to become a better version of themselves to join. Thank you.
Of Professor Buitron. Come train at the best kept secret of Laredo. Buitron Academy, 956-401-4868. Savate.biz.